Welcome back to the channel. I'm so glad you're here today. In today's video, we're going to be installing a Bonamici adjustable rear set on my Ducati Streetfighter V2. I gotta say, first impressions of this rear set, it is super high quality. From a machining background, I can really appreciate all of the tooling marks. All of them go in a single direction. They all blend together. You can tell a lot of thought and time and care went into programming all of the CNC processes to make this kit. It's all billet, and I'm honestly blown away. I don't think I've ever seen motorcycle parts that look this high quality. So what is this? This is an adjustable rear set. And what a rear set is on a motorcycle, obviously, are your rear controls. So where your feet go, where your shifter is, where your brake is on the other side. And this kit is fully adjustable. So where your toes, contact your shift points, where your foot presses down on the brake pedal, you can adjust them to perfectly match the size of your feet, as well as adjust where your pegs go in relation to the bike. So you can raise your feet up, you can push them forward, you can pull them back, you can lower them. Super adjustable kit. So today I'm going to be removing the stock rear sets from my bike and installing this fully adjustable set from Bonamici Racing. Big thank you to Motivation USA for getting this kit shipped out super quick. I'm gonna put a link to their website in the description below so that you can get this rear set for your Ducati Streetfighter V2 as well. All right, let's tear into this. I'm gonna start with just taking off the factory rear sets, I guess. There's not much else to it. I'm gonna do this whole install with a simple metric Allen key set. Pretty confident that's all we're gonna need. We might need a wrench to adjust the shifter and brake lever linkage, but all in all, this should be a super simple, easy install. I have never put a set of rear sets on a motorcycle before, so we are gonna figure this out together. Pro tip, whenever I take screws out of something, I always screw them right back in where they belong. That way, in the future, you know where they go. Just makes it a little bit easier for you. All right, I lied a little bit. I am gonna get a ratchet to speed things up. Now that the factory rear set is removed from my Streetfighter, we're gonna first install the rear set bracket, I guess you could call it. Another really trick feature about these is they have a built-in reverse shifter, MotoGP style shifter, built into the rear set, so you don't need to get a different reverse shift bracket up here on the transmission. So, pretty trick. First thing we're gonna do, Loctite these two bolts and snug them up nice and tight against the chassis of the bike. I have found it easiest to install the lower bolt kind of exposed like this to get it started. And then we'll come back and kind of swing the bracket around to install the upper rear set bolt. So we'll run this in pretty much all the way until it's just there. And then you can swing the bracket up and install your upper bolt, which is much easier to access. Okay, we're figuring this out together. So I installed the rear set bracket first, but then realized you can't, the bolt for the shift arm back here comes backwards, comes towards us into the shifter pivot arm, I guess we're gonna call it. And where the swing arm is, you can't get to it. So I'm gonna take the top bolt out of this and unscrew the bracket back here so we can kind of take all this apart to get this guy free, which then I can now kind of hold up here and attach it to my shift rod. We're gonna try this. Like I said, we're learning this together. I haven't installed this kit before, so we're just gonna do it. So a little bit of Loctite. Don't want this stuff coming loose ever again, like ever. get behind this guy, like so. Get our shifter arm and screw it into the reverse shift, GP style shift position. All right, and now we can just barely get an Allen wrench back there and tighten this. And let's give this a little snug. All right, now we got to get that lined up somehow. Let's see, how do I tighten that now? We're figuring it out, guys. I don't know yet. Okay, figured it out now. So what you need to do is take off the clutch slave cylinder first, then unhook the shift rod from up top on the transmission. Then it's loose enough that you can Loctite it and tighten everything up back here first. Then come back and attach the main bolts of the rear set to the chassis. I just finished doing a quick functions check. Shifter clears, everything works correctly, and we can continue on with finishing up this side of the bike. I'm gonna go ahead and start with these in the highest up and furthest rearward position. Let's go ahead and snug these down there. Next we've got their really trick looking heel guards. Pop that on. Super simple. Foot pegs go on next. These are really cool. They've got I like what they did. So you just screw it straight in like this to their rear set. I'm gonna kind of clock it where I want it. Tighten it down from the outside. And then they've got this little end cap that just screws right into the end of the peg to kind of clean it all up. That is really cool. And we'll just give this a snug, something like that. Get it clocked where we want it. Sure, looks good to me. And then all we have left is the actual shift lever itself. I'm just gonna put it here for now, and then whenever it cools off in the morning, I'll take it for a test spin and then play with the adjustment, getting it, you know, clocked where I want it, get this positioned where I want it to fit my feet. But for now, I'm just gonna put it on a kind of neutral position, I guess you could say. First side is complete. I went ahead and hopped on the bike on the stand currently and just kind of tweaked it to where I think is gonna be the correct position for me, for where I want it. And we'll leave it there until we go for a test ride and then do some finer adjustments now that we have the capabilities. But even now, I don't know if y'all can tell on camera the aftermarket rear set versus the factory rear set, the height position on them. It's a huge difference. There you go. Now you guys can really see how much further up these rear sets get your feet compared to factory. So that side's down. Now all I have left to do is the brake side. Pretty much gonna tackle it the same way. Just start taking stuff off. Starting with the heel guard. Seems to be the easiest thing to access. We will have to take off this brake master cylinder because it's gonna bolt to the new rear set. But we don't have to disconnect any of the lines, so we shouldn't have to worry about needing to bleed it. We just got this little Allen key hiding back here. There we go. Wow, that thing fought me the whole way out. All right, we'll just push that up out of the way. Snip that zip tie. And we are off. Just like the other side, I'm gonna start with the main rear set bracket. I'll be honest, there's a good chance we'll end up taking it off, but from what I can tell, it all starts with this. So let's get this bolted up first, and then we'll see where things start to kind of fall into place per se. And again, we have tons of adjustability of where to put this bracket, which is going to affect our foot peg position, our heel guard position, pretty much everything. So I'm gonna match what I did on the other side for now. And then in the future, it's super easy to just loosen these two bolts and adjust where you want your foot controls to be so that you can get ergonomically set up on the machine. All right, there we go. I went ahead and knocked this side out. It is infinitely intuitive compared to the shifter side. Bonamici sends an amazing schematic, and if you follow it, you can get this kit set up very quickly and easily. The one part that I don't quite understand, and I guess this is just part of it, is this is the OEM sensor for the rear brake light switch, and nowhere on the rear set is there a way to mount it. So this is my first rear set. I don't know if that's just part of the deal with aftermarket rear sets, that they just don't have rear brake light sensors, but it's all set up. It has an adjustable stop right here, so you can kind of preload the slop in the brake pedal and get it to where it's super responsive and quick to grab. And there we go. We got the Bonamici adjustable rear sets installed on the Streetfighter V2. I did end up taking off the electronic rear brake light sensor, unplugged it. There's just a cable that runs right up to here. You just have to loosen some of these screws, pull the fairing off a little bit, and you can unplug it. There were no dash lights, so all is good to go. Again, I'll put a link in the description below of where you can get these rear sets from Motovation USA. Big thanks to them, super fast shipping and great customer service. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.